So what is new in the OM1? Also in this video, I'm going to answer a question. It's been going around in the forums. A lot of people are saying that the OM1 is just some leftover technology that Olympus had finished, and now JIP is selling off that technology that the previous company had developed. Now, is that true? I'm going to answer that in this video. First, I can't believe I'm making a video about this. Is this just recycled tech that Olympus has developed? No. Okay, let me tell you something about development cycle times of equipment. Okay, let's say if you bought a company, okay, and it was a Ferrari, okay, and they had a brand new Ferrari on the line. It was all done, all the technology had been researched, all the products and components and pieces had been put together, the production line was all ready to go, it was all complete. Would you sit on that car for 2 years, do nothing, not sell it, not talk about it or anything, and then 2 years later start selling that car? No, you wouldn't. That would be utterly nonsense. Okay, it would be bollocks. That's what it would be. And this is what people are saying, that JIP or OM Digital Systems, basically they're saying that the OM1 here is just technology that Olympus had already researched and now JIP is trying to sell it off. No, folks, this is utterly stupid. Okay, the OM1 is 100% done by OM Digital Systems. Okay, it is a completely new camera too. Okay, there is absolutely nothing about this that's carried over from the old Olympus days. So what's new in it? I have gone over these cameras very, very closely, okay, and externally there is absolutely nothing about them that's the same. Okay, I actually thought that I had two things on my list that were going to be things that, you know, had been carried over. One of them was this little guy right here. It's the cable clip, and I thought that this was just copied over from the old days. Well, when I went back and took a second look at it, no, even this was different. Okay, it's a plastic piece of molded plastic, yes, but you know what? When you make small changes to a mold, you basically have to throw out that mold and completely start over again. There's no making modifications to a molded part. Okay, you must make a completely new mold. So yeah, even that little clip is completely an OMDS, OM Digital Systems product. Okay, also this guy right here, this is the cable protector. Basically, it prevents the USB cord from being yanked out of the port, and I thought that this was interchangeable with the EM1X because they look pretty close. But then one night when I was trying to plug my EM1X cable protector into my OM1, it wasn't going in, and I was like, what the heck here? And then I got a flashlight and I looked at the two side by side, and sure enough, they are different. They are not the same thing. And yeah, that's why I have a little label printed on both of them now. One is for the EM1X and the other one is for the OM1, so that I can differentiate the two, because they're pretty close, but they don't fit. Now, what else is new? I mean, folks, there is not a single button on these cameras that is identical. I've taken calipers to them, and yes, I've even put these cameras under a microscope to look at the screws that are on the bottoms of the cameras, and they are even different, okay? There's just absolutely nothing about them that's the same. The rubber is different, the glues are different, the plastics, the texturing, the coatings, the glass, and then now let's get into the hardware, okay? Internally, everything about this is new. Open up the card slots here, and we look into the card slots. Those are different stamped parts, okay? At first, I thought that the shutter was just carried over from an older Olympus camera, because in their promotional videos, they actually used the same picture. However, when I was listening to the shutter very closely, I tell you what, it's a completely different sound. So it's definitely not the same mechanism. And I'm a machinist, okay? If a piece of equipment sounds different, it's not the same piece of equipment, all right? It's going to be different. Also, even the image stabilization mechanism that's in this camera is completely different from the OM1. So totally new. internally new sensor, new processor, new motherboard. I've seen pictures of the motherboard. I haven't torn these guys apart yet to get to the motherboard, but they're definitely different. Also, the way these cameras distribute heat, which I did a video about that already, is quite different. And no, there's no fan in the OM1. I know some people have been saying there might be a fan in the OM1. Don't worry, there isn't a fan inside this thing. What you're hearing is the image stabilization mechanism that's holding the sensor in place. All right, and of course the viewfinder is new, the glass is new, the eye cup is new. Yeah, everything is new, okay? Absolutely everything is new. I originally thought that these little clips here that you hold your camera strap on were going to be the same thing. No, they're not. Even those are different, okay? There's just absolutely nothing about this that has been carried over from the old days. And I'll tell you a story. I took this camera into my dealer. He's a Canon guy, and we kind of looked at him a little bit, and he commented me. He's like, you know what? This camera, it looks like somebody gave the design concept to the design team and said, look guys, do whatever you want. And that's exactly what the design team definitely did, because absolutely everything about this is different. In the old days, when the Olympus design team, which is the same group of people by the way, they brought over all the same engineers. When they were designing cameras for the old Olympus system, they had to make sure that that technology could also be used in the medical departments, okay? Well, now their camera department is completely freed of this, and that means that they can 100% design their cameras to be cameras, which I think is good for us. All right, so hope you enjoyed this little rant. Yes, I'm going to be doing a video very soon on the sensor in this guy, and I'm going to go into all the nitty-gritty details. I've got some pretty cool testing that I've done, and I found out some pretty interesting things about it too. Even the hole right here, which is for the built-in microphone, the screen on the older phone, on the older camera, is black, but here on the OM1 it's white, so even that's different.